Just as QuantumScape Corp is raising more capital, will Enphase Energy do the same? As at the 30th of December 2020, QuantumScape Corp filed an S3 disclosure. We'll have a look in a few minutes now to raise about a few hundred million dollars, and also enable its selling shareholders to sell off some of their positions and stuff like that. So the question is, amongst other things, is will Enphase Energy do the same? Well, there's a good chance that Enphase may also do the same. We pointed out that this is what may happen in the previous video we made. You can look in our library. You'll see the video. It was just done on the 3rd of January 2021. So because all of these companies, they are small and emerging companies, they are in the development phase of the business, and most of them, Enphase and QuantumScape, they are in this phase. They need a lot of capital, and some of the products they are coming up with, some of the technologies they are coming up with are still very much new. So there's a good chance that Enphase will also do the same. They did that, I think the last time they did that was 2019 or 2018. They issued a lot of filed a lot of disclosures to raise more, to offer more shares. You can see what they currently have now is 126.3 million shares, and 76% of them are held by institutions. And also remember that on the 7th of this month, that is on Thursday the 7th of January 2021, Enphase will replace Tiffany's in the S&P 500 index. So like we indicated in the last video, the fact that S&P wants to include Enphase, which is probably the most preeminent or the most would I say the most valuable? I can't say if it is the most valuable of all the sustainable energy and EV stocks at the moment, apart from some other ones, or rather amongst the emerging ones. It's probably the most preeminent one. Correct me if I'm wrong. The fact that they want to include them in the index is an indication that they have seen where market participants like you watching this video is putting his or her money and his or her interest. So it is a recognition of that, amongst also the fact other things that it is we are all going towards renewable energy. It's a big the momentum and the drive towards there is unrelenting, so they can't just stand aside and just brush it off. So this is in recognition of that, amongst other things, recognition of your interests and your desires and your wishes, so and also because we have also put on, you and I watching this video, have put a lot of money into this sector as well, so we can see what's going on here, and it says QuantumScape as of yesterday, the 4th of January. I said it was according to this piece on Schaefer Investment Research. It's near the bottom of the NYC today. That was the 4th of January 2020. QuantumScape last seen down 36.4% to trade at $53.56. Today's bear gap came after the company filed to offer 306 million shares. We'll see that disclosure of common stock. Also driving the shares lower are concerns from some investors over the viability of the company's batteries, which have to be tested outside the laboratory settings. Nonetheless, shares just hit a December 22 all-time high of 132.73%, and security has tacked on no less than 263.1% the last 3 months. And then furthermore, it says here, QuantumScape continued to pull back on approximately 8% average volume. The stock has now moved lower by approximately 62% since spiking to a record high in December of 2020. Okay, so let's refresh and see what's going on here. It's still in the pre-market, it's still going down. So let's have a look. This is the disclosure. We will find a link to this disclosure in the description box below, and it's an S3 disclosure, no doubt about that. Yes, and you can see what's going on here. They are paying a fee for all of these securities of $2.02 million, and the largest of them all is a common stock of 236.964 million shares, and fees for that is $1.564 million. So let's go down and see what they have to say a bit more. So this prospectus relates to the release of shares of Class A common stock per value $0.0001 per share, amongst other things. So let's see the offering. This is the table of contents. Let's get down to the let's see the offering here, or use of proceeds, I think. Okay, the common stock the common stock Kensington warrants and Kensington units consist of 1 share of common stock and 1/2 warrant. The units were historically quoted on New York Stock Exchange under the KCAC, KCACWS, and KCAC.U respectively. At effective time, the units are automatically separated into the company securities. As a result, no longer trade as separate security. On November 27, 2020, the Class A common stock and public warrants began trading on New York Stock Exchange under the new trading symbols KIOS and KIOS.WS, which the warrants respectively. Okay, there's rules of proceeds. All the securities offered by the selling securities holders pursuant to this prospectus will be sold by the selling security holders for their respective accounts. We will not receive any proceeds from the sale of the securities hereunder. We'll receive up to an aggregate of approximately $208.72 million from the exercise of the warrants, assuming the exercise in full of all the warrants for cash. We expect to use the net proceeds from the exercise of the warrants for general corporate purposes. Okay, so one other thing we have to also do that is important is to have a look at the financial statements before we wrap up this video. So let's go back to the table of contents and see if we can find where that is. Okay, let's see. Do they have anything like that here? Because it doesn't really seem like they do. Okay, we can't find anything like that, but there's also some other piece of information that they disclosed. Product of the development. Major remaining development activities include, but not limited to, multi-layering, To date, we have only produced single layer solid state battery cells at the commercially required size. In order to produce commercially viable solid state battery cells, we must produce battery cells which may require over 100 layers. We will need to overcome the developmental challenges to stack these layers and implement the approximate cell design for our solid state battery cells. Continued improvement in the solid state separator. We are working to improve the reliability and performance of our solid state separator, including decreasing the thickness. Integration of advanced cathode materials. We benefit from industry cathode chemistry improvements and all cost reduction. Our solid state separator platform is being designed to enable some of the most promising next generation cathode technologies, including high voltage or high capacity cathode active materials. Okay, there's something they disclosed earlier on concerning Volkswagen. Let's get back to that and see. Should have made a note of that when we saw it earlier on. Okay, that's it. That's it. So, QuantumScape Corporation overview, and it's over here. It says, over the last 8 years, we have been fortunate to have developed a strong partnership with Volkswagen Group of America Investment LLC and certain of its affiliates. Volkswagen is one of the largest car companies in the world and intends to be a leader in the EV space. Volkswagen has announced plans to launch more than 70 new EV models and build more than 255 million vehicles on electric platforms by the end of the decade. Over the last 8 years, Volkswagen has invested and committed to invest, subject in certain cases to certain closing conditions that have not yet been satisfied, a total of of more than $300 million in QuantumScape, and has established a 50-50 joint venture with QuantumScape to enable an industrial level of production of our solid-state batteries. As 50-50 partners in the joint venture with Volkswagen, we expect to have to share equally in the revenue and profit from the joint venture. Over the course of the relationship, Volkswagen has successfully tested multiple generations of certain of our single layer laboratory cells at industry accepted automotive rates of power. Power is the rate at which a battery can be charged and discharged. We believe no other lithium metal battery technology has demonstrated the capability of achieving automotive rates of power with acceptable battery life. While we expect Volkswagen to be the first to commercialize vehicles using our battery technology over the next few years, as we build our initial 1 gigawatt hour pilot facility, we intend to work closely with the automotive original equipment manufacturers to make our solid-state battery cells widely available over time. As part of our joint venture agreement, we have agreed that pilot facility will be the first facility to manufacture our battery technology for automotive applications, but subject to other terms of the joint venture arrangements, we are not limited from working in parallel with all the automotive OEMs to commercialize our technology. Okay, so you'll find the link to this disclosure in the description box below. Okay, so the question we asked at the beginning of this video is, will Enphase Energy also go the same direction to raise more capital, to issue more shares and raise more capital? There's a good chance that might happen. Enphase, QuantumScape, all of these companies are still developing their technologies and developing their products, and they need a lot of capital. They will be burning a lot of capital. So if you're new to this channel, subscribe, like, and share. If you're already a subscriber, thank you very much for watching this video, and please do share.